Hello and welcome to Chapter 9, Lesson 2. I know we did skip 9-1 and that's okay. Today we're going to talk about adding like fractions. Okay, so like fractions are fractions that have the same denominator, right? So if we think of adding like fractions as joining parts to refer to the same whole, to add like fractions, we add the numerators, but we keep the denominators the same. Right? Because we've learned that when we change the size of the denominator, we're changing the size of the piece, right? If I have a pizza and it's cut into only 2 pieces, if I change that and cut it into 4 pieces, my pieces got smaller, right? So if I said, hey, what's 1/2 plus 1/2? Let's look at that quick. 1/2 plus 1/2. And if we added the numerators, we'd get 2. And if we added the denominators, we'd get 4. 2/4. Now, if you're thinking about simplifying fractions, look at this. 1/2. Can 1/2 plus 1/2 equal, is half of a sandwich plus another half of a sandwich equal to a half? No, it's equal to 1. Right? So we do not, this is not what we do. What we do is we only add the numerators. So 1/2 plus 1/2 would equal 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 is, or we don't add the 2, sorry, we keep the 2's the same. 2/2. So if I have 2 pieces, like down here, let me erase this guy. If I have 2 pieces on my pizza, right, and I eat 2 pieces, that's the same as 1 whole pizza. So a half plus a half makes a whole. All right, so let's dig into this concept a little more. And, also, I combined adding and subtracting. Okay, because it's like the same concept, I thought we could do it all in one video. So I'll try to speed things up a little bit so this isn't a long video, but let's get started. All right, so for example 1 here, it says, Pablo spent 2/6 of an hour working on a jigsaw puzzle. Conrad spent 1/6 of an hour on the puzzle. How much time did they spend working on the puzzle in all? So if I'm going to take 2/6 and 1/6 and add them together, remember, we add the numerators, keep the same denominator. 2 plus 1 is 3, and 6 does not change. Because, remember, the denominator talks about the size of the piece. The numerator tells us how many pieces, but the denominator says what size is the piece. So 3/6 is how much time they spent. Now, if I take my fraction 3/6, I notice it's not in simplest form. I can divide both 3 and 6 by 3. So I can take 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So they spent half an hour on the puzzle, or 30 minutes. Example 2. 3/10 plus 5/10. Okay, so if I'm taking 3/10 and 5/10 and adding together, I add my numerators and get 8. My denominator doesn't change. So I'd get 8/10. Now I need to simplify. 8/10, I notice 8 and 10 can both be divided by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 3/10 plus 5/10 is actually 4/5. Okay, so we can always use models to check. We can see that I can trade out 2 of these 1/10 for 1/5. They're worth the same amount. So I can change 8/10 into 4/5, and they're still worth exactly the same amount. So let's do some work ourselves here. So if I take 1/6 plus 2/6, 1 plus 2 is 3/6. That's not in simplest form though, because I notice I can divide both the numerator and denominator by 3, sorry. So I would get 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 1/2, that is simplest form. Here we have 2/5 plus 2/5. So 2 plus 2 is 4. The denominator does not change. Now, can I divide 4 and 5 by the same numbers? Well, I know the factors of 4 are 1, 4, and 2. 2 and 2 are 4. And 5 is 1 and 5. So the only common factor they share is 1. And if I divide something by 1, it's not going to do anything. So yes, this is in simplest form, 4/5. Now, I really didn't think this was too tricky of a lesson, and so I wanted us to look at also subtracting like fractions. You're going to have to flip forward quite a few pages to lesson 4, because we went from lesson 2 up to lesson 4. Here it says, think of subtracting like fractions as separating parts that refer to the same whole. So to subtract like fractions, we subtract the numerators, and we're going to keep those denominators the same. So it's the same thing. When we're adding and subtracting fractions, same thing. We're only adding and subtracting the numerators. And the denominators are going to stay the same because they've got to be the same in order for us to subtract. So here we have Liliana. She jogged 5/8 of a mile on Monday and 3/8 of a mile on Tuesday. How much farther did she jog on Monday? Okay, this is a how many more question. So we know it's going to be subtracting. So if I take 5/8 and I take away 3/8, 5 minus 3 is 2, and our 8 stays the same. Our denominator stays the same. So I'm going to look at 2/8 is my answer, but it's not simplified. It's not in the simplest form. So if I take 2/8, divide both the numerator and denominator by 2, I would get a final answer of 1/4. So Liliana jogged 1/4 mile farther on Monday. Here we need to find 7/10 minus 5/10. Okay, so I just do 7 minus 5 is 2/10. Now I see 2/10. They're both even, so I know I can divide them both by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 7/10 minus 5/10 is 1/5. Okay, so we can see here, if we are between 0 and 1, I'm just, subtracting 1/10 each time. 1/10, and then I'm finding common denominators that 2/10 and 1/5 are the same point on the number line, which is kind of cool. Lastly, guided practice. So we've got 6 minus 3 is 3, and 8 is going to stay the denominator. Now 3 is prime, so it's only 1 and 3. Only factors are 1 and 3. 8 is 1, 8, 4, and 2 are the factors of 8, the numbers that multiply together. Again, the only ones we have in common are 1, so we know we're in simplest form. Okay, what about this guy? 11 minus 5 is 6. 12 stays the same. I notice I can divide both of these by 2, but I can also divide them by 6. Let's just do by 2 to show what would we do if we divided it by 2 and we see we can go farther. Because I see some of you on your homework, you're doing this, and then you're writing an answer. 6 divided by 2 is 3. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And you're saying that this is simplest form. But now listen, look what I can do again. I can divide 3 and 6 by 3. So I'd really be getting an answer of 1/2. Okay, my other option is when I had 6/12, I can say, hey, I see that both have factors of 6, right? Because 6 would be 1, 6, 2, and 3. 12 would be 1, 12, 3, 4, and 6 and 2. So they both have the greatest common factor of 6. Let me get my pen back out here, of 6. So if I divide them both by 6, I'm just going to hop right to 1/2. Okay, but you always need to be asking yourself, do they have any common factors? Do they share any factors that I can make my fraction in simplest form? All right, that's all I have for you for today. I put very clearly on the assignment what problems I want you to do from 9-2 and 9-4. So make sure you're doing all the problems on all 4 pages that I assign. So make sure you look at that assignment very carefully. But that's all I have for you for today. Thanks for watching, and make sure you always let me know if you have any questions. Bye.